Guys, we need to talk about safety in kitesurfing. Now, I want to be clear that everything I'm about to say brings me absolutely no joy. I'm friends with a lot of people in this industry, from riders to the guys who are running the brands, running the marketing, and I actually used to be a team rider for Ride Engine. So anyway, let me just record a couple minutes of video just to get this out of the way and try and make this sport a bit safer for everybody involved. And then I'm going to get on to making how-to videos, which is something that I do actually enjoy. So anyway, yeah, right here, this is the Ride Engine Elite Carbon harness, and it's got what they call a hyperlocked spreader bar. So this hyperlocked bar can just slide out, as you'll see in this video, for no good reason at all, and it's a super dangerous safety issue. Now, I'm not trying to attack Ride Engine. It is the latest of many safety issues that I've seen in my past 11 years of being a kite surfer. Over the years, I've seen issues happen with other brands as well. I've seen spreader bars breaking from Ion, from Mystic. We've obviously seen the Mystic recall. We've seen quick releases opening unexpectedly, breaking when they shouldn't. We've seen a lot of safety issues over the years. We've seen leading edges popping, and I'm not looking to attack any brands, but I want to point out a major problem. As somebody, well, a lot of us are affiliated with the brands. That's a major problem we have right now. I'm obviously sponsored by Core. I used to be sponsored by Ride Engine. Before that, I was riding with Nash. I had a small deal there. And most of us who are aware of these issues are not in a position where we can speak up about it because we're affiliated with the brands, we're friends with them, and we don't want to be the guys who are shitting on them, especially publicly. So let me tell you a story. So a couple of years ago, I was riding with my Nash 2017 bar, brand new. I came in to land a jump, and as I was pulling my heli loop, boom, my quick release exploded. It just broke apart. It hurt my fingers because of all the force that went through my fingertips. And I was like, what the hell? Okay, what's going on here? I've got my stuff together at the beach. I noticed that my quick release had broken. Went to the local shop, got a new quick release, got a new bar. Traveled to Indonesia a couple months later, was doing a back roll hand drag, and boom, the same thing happened. The quick release broke open. And that was the first time I was put in a really tough situation where there was a known safety issue with the product. The brand was aware of it. And I felt pressured to not communicate with my friends who were riding this gear or potential customers who we wanted to purchase gear from the shop in order to support the shop that was sponsoring me. And it put me in this horrible situation. I really hated that feeling. And since then, over the years, I've seen issues happen with other brands. But of course, I've been the founder of the Big Air Kite League and trying to get sponsorship for our competition. So again, I didn't want to be the guy who was publicly calling out these brands. And anyway, here's the issue. Here's the major problem. The people who find out about these problems don't have a platform to share with people that there are problems. Luckily, I'm a guy who does actually have a platform. And two, we are incentivized to not share openly with people. And there are definitely people out there who are having malfunctions with their gear. There are definitely, I would say it's pretty likely that there are people who are getting injured from things breaking with their kite gear, and there are no repercussions for the brands. And when the brands do know about an issue, most of the time they don't handle it well. So let me talk about what it means to handle something well. Well, as soon as you become aware of an issue, and I just spoke with ChatGPT about it. It's like, hey, ChatGPT, what should a brand do if they have a known issue with a product? Well, the first thing is obviously to try and rectify the issue, see if they can come up with a solution. And then, so that's called rectifying, right? Then there's the concept of informing. Are you letting your customers know that there's a problem with the product? If a company doesn't do this, that's called failure to inform. It's a legal term when a brand isn't doing, or a business isn't doing what it should do to keep their customers safe when they're using a product that can potentially put their users' lives at risk. And then there's the concept of recalling. And if they don't recall, it's called failure to recall. So do brands announce the recalls? Sometimes. Sometimes, like in the case of my Nash quick release, they don't even rectify. So the year that it happened to me, I had 2 bars break, and they said to me, oh, that's so crazy because you had 2 of the only 3 that broke worldwide. And that's total bullshit. There were definitely more bars breaking around the world. And I saw it not just in that year's release, I saw it in not just the next year's release, but the year after that, I saw it happen again. So that means this issue persisted, not just in that batch of production, but the following year and the following year, which means they didn't even rectify. So failure to rectify. They didn't inform the customers. Failure to inform. They did not do any fucking recall. I'm sorry for swearing, but it's like mind-blowing. They didn't do any recall, so failure to recall. So these are like, it's actually becoming like a criminal act as far as I know, although I'm not a lawyer, right? Yeah, so it's pretty horrible. It's pretty horrible to see these things happen. And then you can look at other brands. You can say, okay, Mystic had the issue with the Stealth spreader bar. And then they did a recall. I think that's probably the best handled situation I've seen over the years, where they communicated pretty publicly and put good effort into communicating, and people could go into a shop and could get a new spreader bar. The Gen 2 spreader bar, I believe, was the replacement. But if you look on honestkitereviews.com, you'll see there's even a guy who's had his spreader bar hook shear off on the Gen 2 spreader bar, which was the one that was supposed to be better, right? Now, the efforts to inform, I think that's a very interesting point. How loudly do the brands shout about the safety issues that they observe? Because when a new product comes out, they email about it, every dealer emails about it, every team rider posts about it, they post about it on their Instagram, their Facebook, their LinkedIn, they're everywhere. But when there's a recall, do they shout about it and try and inform their customers and keep them safe? Or do they kind of like do it in a subtle way and try sweep it under the rug? Because that's, to me, if you're not putting proper effort into the inform process, you're not really doing it. And very often people will say, wow, my spreader bar hook broke. I didn't know there was an issue with the Gen 1 spreader bar. And people say, oh yeah, dude, there was a recall like a year ago. How did you not know about that? Well, maybe people didn't shout loudly enough about it. And then again, so failure to inform, and then the recall. Now, look, I don't know what's going on for these businesses. I'm sure there are massive pressures for them to not do a recall. I'm sure that the kite industry right now is going through a bit of a tough time after COVID. Been massive issues with oversupply, quite frankly. And I'm sure that the brands are often in a position where they can't afford to take back all their damaged stock, and they're counting on the sales, potentially refund dealers, whatever it might be. I'm sure they're not in a position where they can handle these kind of things, but we are talking about people's safety here. So should it be acceptable for that to happen? Should it be acceptable for these things to not be handled to the absolute best of their ability? Now, in my opinion, absolutely not. And if I were in their position, if I were the director of a brand, if I were a brand manager, would I do the right thing? Fuck, I would not want to give myself the benefit of the doubt. It's a horrible position to be in. I would rather not give myself the benefit of the doubt and say that I would do a poor job of it. But that's why I'm not manufacturing equipment that people's lives and safety depends upon, because I don't have enough faith in the quality of my work to have people's lives resting on my hands. So yeah, guys, some important things for us to consider. It's a pretty long video. If you do want to find out about safety issues, then head over to honestkitereviews.com. I don't profit in any way from this platform. I built it just because I realized that I'm capable, that I can do something about this problem. And because if I don't do something about it, I know that everybody else is incentivized to just shut up and carry on with things. And I just don't want to know that somebody got injured or died or whatever horrible shit might happen when there was something that I could have done about it. And I'm not a saint. I'm just a regular dude who likes to build things and wants to make positive change in this community. Lastly, let me just finish off by saying that to Ride Engine, obviously, I know a lot of you guys. I know the brand manager. I've had a good relationship with you guys for many years, and I want you guys to do well. I did send a message to Ride Engine before posting about all of this stuff. I didn't get a response. And I said, hey, look, it's better that you guys get out in front of this issue and you speak about it rather than I speak about it. So I did my part. I warned you that I would be speaking up about this. I haven't seen any efforts to inform customers, any efforts to recall. I don't know what's going on in the business that you guys probably aren't in a position where you can handle these things the right way, but it's not too late. So hopefully you can do the right thing. Hopefully we see something in the next few days. And yeah, everybody out there, let's try and look after one another. And when we do find safety issues, put it on honestKiteReviews.com, share it with your mates. And yeah, let's just try and make this sport safer. I hope it doesn't need to reach a point where there needs to be like legal action, like a class action lawsuit against a brand, and for a brand to be shut down in order for other brands to start taking safety more seriously. It really, let's not let it get to that point. But if things keep going the way that they're going, yeah, probably going to get to that point. Cheers.